So with that, I am going to be introducing Kuya Brennan Flores. I have the pleasure of introducing him, who is a Kuya and mentor of mine. Brennan made history in 2016 by being elected as the first millennial and youngest ever national chairman of the largest Filipino-American organization covering the continental United States, Alaska, Hawaii, and the Pacific Islands. He was also one of the youngest vice presidents and regional managers for Wells Fargo for 15 years before accepting his new role as Bank of America as Senior Vice President and Consumer Banking Performance Manager. He's been an inspiration for a lot of millennials to join the nonprofit world and get involved here in the Filipino-American community. And so with that, Kuya Brennan Flores.
All right. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? It's not a Filipino party if it's there's no karaoke. So, well, good morning. I am Brennan Flores, and I currently serve as president and chairman of the National Federation of Filipino American Associations, or NaFFAA for short. NaFFAA is America's largest network of Filipino American associations, representing everyone from Filipino American nurses to Filipino American World War II veterans. And before I get started or continue, I'd like to acknowledge a couple of folks who made this happen. But I'll even go back. So 4 years ago, Filipino American History Month was actually pioneered by my current executive director, Jason Tanko. If you could stand up and be recognized. And then right after that, organizations like NaFFAA, Kaya, and FON, and Justin continue the celebration. And for the last 2 years, Melissa and her team have been a tremendous help. So Melissa, thank you so much. For on board this year, thank you. For Filipino over here. And then Chris and Deborah for working behind the scenes. So thank you so much. And really honored to be speaking with you all today, especially since it is October. As you may know, this and every October, we celebrate Filipino American History Month. This month is the perfect time for us all to reflect on the remarkable history, proud heritage, and boundless contributions of Filipinos and Filipino Americans to greater American history and culture. To say we have made our mark in America is an understatement. Our ever-increasing population, recently reaching 4 million people, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, makes us the third largest Asian American group. And as part of the greater Asian American community, we are the fastest growing racial or ethnic group in the US. That's a big deal, right? Filipinos can be found in every region in the US. We represent every corner of this great nation with strong and proud Filipino populations from the West Coast, Hawaii, and California, of course, Washington State, and even my home state of Nevada, all the way to the East Coast. From the Big Apple to the shores of Virginia Beach, all the way down to my adopted home state of Florida, and unexpected places in between. The tremendous waves of our professional and cultural contributions can be felt in towns all over the country. We are your co-workers, classmates, and community leaders. We are sworn military officers, dedicated medical professionals, and committed educators. Our impact on society today is no accident. Filipinos have solidly contributed to American history and culture for decades, if not centuries. In fact, Filipino presence can be traced to the late 16th century when Filipino soldiers arrived in what is now Morro Bay, California. More recently, Filipinos have been integral to several efforts that have changed the course of American history. In the 1960s, Filipino farm workers in Delano, California, fed up with inhumane work conditions, banded together to strike. Led by visionary Filipino-American labor organizer Larry Itliong, the Filipino farm workers ultimately combined forces with celebrated civil rights and labor activists Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez to form what would eventually become the United Farm Workers of America, a strong and powerful voice for hardworking farm laborers. And you can't miss the mark we've made on American culture. Let me list some of the names, and I know some of you might not even realize they have Filipino heritage. Lea Salonga, Enrique Iglesias, Darren Chris, Nicole Scherzinger, and one more for good measure. Bruno Ars, anyone? Right? Can't get any bigger than that. All right, and I'm sure you've heard about our food. Filipino food is all the rage right now. According to world-renowned chef and TV personality, the late great Anthony Bourdain, Filipino food is, and I quote, the next big thing in America. I don't think it's the next big thing anymore. It's here. It's arrived. Go to Purple Patch. If you live here in DC and you've tried Purple Patch, you know what I'm talking about. And tonight, we are continuing our celebration at the new Michelin-rated Kaliwat restaurant. So please go. Everybody has to go tonight. So talk to Jason. And a piece of advice. If you plan on going to Kaliwat, which means left in Filipino, you may want to come, or you may be left out. So whether or not you had the opportunity to catch the most recent Emmy Awards, the ripple effects of the growing influences that Filipinos and Filipino Americans are making on television is a validation that we have a significant opportunity with representation. I don't need to mention some of the name of the shows because it's not important right now, but they need to get it right, that's all I'm saying. Because I'm sure we all have been to hospitals and we've seen titos and titas and aunts and Chris working so hard, so they need to represent properly. As another example of changing American history, I would be remiss not to bring up the service and sacrifice of our Filipino-American World War II veterans. Their selflessness and commitment to duty led them to join American forces in the fight against tyranny in the 1940s. Unfortunately, their service was not rewarded with recognition nor benefits for decades. In 2016, Congress rightly voted to award these brave heroes the Congressional Gold Medal, the highest civilian honor the U.S. can bestow for their service and sacrifice in World War II. It has been a long fight for recognition for these veterans. A fight NaFFAA is proud to have helped lead with PhilVet funds and many organizations across the country. Fittingly, the Congressional Gold Medal took place last October 25th, and this ceremony was a watershed moment for our veterans as well as our greater Filipino-American community. It showed that our commitment to honoring the past can change the trajectory of our future. So I'd love to take this moment very quickly and acknowledge the servicemen and women who are here with us today. If you could all stand up so we can recognize you. If anybody you've served in the past, as is pretty clear from everything you've just heard, Filipinos and Filipino Americans are part and parcel of the American experience. Our history, from the bravery of our service members to the dedication of our farm workers, to the hope and optimism of our emerging student leaders, is woven into the fabric of America, while our proud heritage remains solid through and through. And this is why I'm extremely proud to lead an organization like NaFFAA, which has a rich two-decade legacy of advocating for the Filipino American community. We have committed 20 years of time and energy lifting up our community through community advocacy, civic engagement, and leadership development. And while we are proud of the progress we have made, that cannot and will not be the end of it. Bottom line, the Filipino and Filipino-American community has not stopped growing and won't stop anytime soon. So we must continue to advocate for recognition and representation while also encouraging our Filipino-Americans to step up and participate. Our collective voice only grows with each person that joins. So I want you to do me a favor before I finish up here. I want you all to stand up real quick in spirit of solidarity. And it's Filipino American History Month, all right? So here's what you need to do. Look to your left. Whoever's left, not the wall, not the person next to you. All right, now look to the right, the person next to you. Okay, I want you to grab each other's hands and raise it all up. Okay, and I want you to reach, not afraid of the all right, great. All right, I want you to repeat after me and mean it. Together, let's make history. Let's make history.